So Steve Spagnuolo is the interim head coach. Giants haven't made a change in season since '76. It's been a long time. Takes over for the fired Ben McAdoo, who got let go on Monday, along with GM Jerry Reese. So a new regime, at least temporarily here for the Giants. Trying to play spoiler today to the Cowboys. Giants have Eli Manning back at quarterback. Of course, out last week, stopped that 210-game consecutive start streak. He is in there today against Jason Garrett and Dallas. 6-6 on the year. They've got a playoff chance, but they really need to win out. And they won the toss, and they will receive today. And the temperatures in the upper 30s, sunshine out, perfect for football in December. Aldrick Rosas to kick it off, and here we go. NFL on Fox, Week 14, as Switzer will take it on out across the 15. And Switzer up near the 25-yard line, and that's where we will see Dak Prescott, who, despite a great week for the offense last week, he played better, but I think you'd still like to see more from this offense, Charles.
Definitely, because he was efficient against Washington. Made some big throws when they needed it, and teams are playing to keep him in the pocket. So he's going to have to win from there and get the ball downfield to a couple of his playmakers. Let's see if Dez Bryant can get going early in this one.
Alfred Morris will be the tailback. He had a great week last week. 27 carries, 127 yards, and a touchdown. From the 24, they'll start out. Prescott dumps it to Morris, and he gets tripped up at the 30. Calvin Munson is playing middle linebacker today. B.J. Goodson is out with an ankle injury as the Giants' injury woes continue to pile up. And that's the thing about this Giants team. You know, when you're 2-10, a lot has to go wrong. As bad as the offense has been, the defense is actually last in the NFL in yards allowed. Second down, they'll run it. Here is Morris, shoulder down, first down for Dallas. So injuries today, Charles, as we look at it, there's a couple biggies for each team, as there usually is at this time of the year. Skandrick, the starting cornerback, and Irving, who is a monster inside on the D-line, out. For the Giants, their middle linebacker, Goodson, and Pugh is out of that offensive line, which has their own troubles as it is. So they'll be shorthanded again without Pugh for the fourth straight game.
Mike 46.
Run it again. And a short gain that time. Cowboys offense, Charles, hard to slump more than they did through weeks 10 through 12.
Yeah, you're talking about 3 weeks with a combined 22 points scored. I don't care how good your defense is, and the Cowboys are struggling in that area as well. You've got no chance when you don't put points on the board. Last week was a breakout. Also got some help from their special teams with a Ryan Switzer punt return touchdown.
Second down and 8. Prescott has time over the middle. Tipped and incomplete. He was going for Dez Bryant, and those two have really had a hard time hooking up.
Listen, that's Dez Bryant's 8th drop on the season. He's going to win at the line of scrimmage with his route. See that? Able to get separation against the corner there, number 25, Brandon Dixon, starting his 2nd game in a row. But when the ball's on time, the ball's in your hands, you have to come away with the catch.
Third down, they show blitz. Here they come. Tipped at the line. It's completed, and moving up is Smith for a first down. Do you believe that? Pure luck as Collins got a piece of it, but right into the arms of Rod Smith for a first down.
Some of my relatives would have said that's buzzard's luck for the New York Giants, because the luck is all for Dallas. The Giants do everything right. Here comes the pressure, right up the gut at Dak Prescott. There's the tip ball on that pressure, and Rod Smith is on the spot to get it. Let's see who gets the ball. Look at that. Landon Collins, one of the top safeties in the league, comes on the blitz, does everything right, and Dallas still ends up with a first down.
Fake the pitch. Prescott looking. Now he's going to tuck it in and run and a slide right around midfield, and Prescott can do that very, very well.
good awareness by Dak Prescott because Devon Kennard, number 59, took away the pass that he wanted to throw to number 41, Keith Smith. He tried to get out into the flat, get a little easy dump off to Smith, the fullback. Kennard took it away, and a nice job by Dak Prescott recognizing, pulling it down, and getting what he could with his legs.
That's Jason Witten in motion, old reliable Pro Bowl tight end. They'll run it here, and a good one to Alfred Morris, who's got another Cowboys first down. Third one on the drive. Nice block by number 82.
You outlined that perfectly, Kevin, because you had him in motion, you had him come back across formation, and instead of being a tight end here, watch Jason Witten. He comes and ends up being a lead blocker, almost like an offensive guard or tackle, as he seals it right there against number 54, Olivier Vernon.
And a quick whistle on the field. I think the ball went rolling away, so they will go and reset that.
46, Mike 46. Everybody,
on first down, Morris. And Alfred Morris tripped up right away. There's Calvin Munson, the rookie from San Diego State, getting the start and making the tackle.
And he does a nice job getting things taken care of right here before they can get underway. Look at Munson, shoots the gap, and Lyle Collins, number 71, unable to get there in time to get a block against him. And Munson gets that play stopped before it could get started.
Mike's 46, Mike's 47, 47, 46, Boston, 46, Boston.
From the 44, second down. Prescott, some pressure, gets hit as he throws, complete. Despite great coverage, it's going to be shy of a first down, down to the 35. Williams had the catch. You couldn't get much better coverage, and Prescott delivers under pressure.
So take a look at the pressure coming at Dak Prescott, and you see it coming off of the right and the left, and he's able to step up and not affected at all by the pressure there from number 41, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and what a grab by Terrence Williams, snatching it out of the air.
Who do you got?
Brings up a third down and one. Blitz coming. Prescott gets riveted. Beasley's got it, and that's a first down. And what a difference a week makes. Last week, Charles, the Cowboys started with 4 3-and-outs. Here they go marching down the field to 4 first downs.
They're doing a really nice job establishing themselves at the line of scrimmage. That vaunted offensive line, controlling things and allowing Dak Prescott time to find his receivers.
Prescott 4 of 5 on the opening drive for 27 yards.
47, Boston. There you go.
4-man rush. Prescott, pressure coming from Vernon, gets ready for Williams, tipped away. Williams had a shot at it as well, but Ross Cockrell on the coverage, and there's a penalty behind the line of scrimmage. Well, Walt Anderson's mic is not working clearly.
15-yard penalty. First down.
Oh, there you go. You could read his lips. Roughing the passer indeed.
So watch Prescott in the pocket, because I thought he was fortunate to get away with this throw because Cockrell had nice coverage, and way too late. Olivier Vernon, well after the 2 steps, puts a shoulder in the back of Dak Prescott. An easy call for Walt Anderson.
So the 11th play of this opening drive by the Cowboys. They won the toss, they elected to receive, and they're marching down the field.
10.
That's Noah Brown in motion. A rookie getting a lot of playing time today with Bryce Butler out. Here's Morris, stretch to the right. Big room. Morris down to the 5. And that'll be close to another first down, although I believe a hair short.
Watch how they overload here. You got double tight ends, Hannah 84, Witten 82. Collins and Martin get out in front, and look at the convoy that Alfred Morris gets to the corner. And then he just tucks it up, gets as much as he can out of that run. Really nice job by the Cowboys, again, controlling the line of scrimmage.
We showed Des Bryant with the drop before, number 88, but he does lead the team in targets in the red zone. There he goes in motion, top of your screen. 2nd and 1, they'll run it instead. Morris, patient, bounces off a tackle, falls forward, and it's a first down. 1st and goal coming your way.
That run is an example of what Alfred Morris gives the Dallas Cowboys, what they like to call dirty yards. because he got bounced back, should have had a loss of yardage there, didn't accept it, and went forward and got what he could out of it. He takes what he can on every run, and eventually things pop. And that's what they're looking forward to happening here in this game.
Dallas goes 3 wide receivers. Morris remains in the game. 1st and goal. Prescott, give it to Morris up the middle, and not much. Giants did a nice job stacking them up.
That was really nicely played, not only by the defensive front of the Giants, but they started to get their safety involved, Landon Collins, who plays his best football when he's in what they call a down position, in the box, a strong safety, extra linebacker.
14th play of this opening drive. Fake. Prescott throws, tipped in the air, and incomplete. It goes out of the back of the end zone. Again, Cockrell, pretty good coverage, and he was right on Terrence Williams.
So here's the one-on-one battle. You see Cockrell does a nice job staying with Williams, and then he undercuts the route and essentially takes his arms away from being able to get the football. Williams wants pass interference, but they're going to let him play there. They got some hand fighting in there, and I thought that Cockrell played a nice play on the ball.
Rod Smith comes in the game at tailback. Dez Bryant to the bottom of your screen. 3rd and goal.
And they're doubling Dez down at the bottom, too.
Prescott looks that way, now looks left. Now looking for anybody. Throwing end zone, knocked away. Dixon was there. And a goal line stand by the Giants.
An excellent drive by Dallas. Even when if this ball goes through the post, it's going to feel wasted because they're going to have to kick a field goal. The Giants, on the other hand, after giving up chunks of yardage and a long drive, they could be energized here by this stop. Dak Prescott had a chance, but I think he noticed right there Snacks Harrison 98 in his sight line and chose to throw it instead of run it.
So a 21-yard field goal by Dan Bailey, who is the most accurate kicker of all time. That's legit, and so is that kick, an easy one. So a long drive, but as Charles said, feels a little empty as Dallas gets on the board first, and we'll see Eli Manning on the field next. A monster drive, 16 plays, but then the Cowboys have to settle for 3, so a little unfulfilling for them. Their best opening drive, at least as far as plays go, but they couldn't convert. They have a 3-0 lead, and they'll kick it off to the Giants now as Khalif Raymond waits back in his own end zone. Raymond thinking about it. Now he's going to come on out. And tackles just across the 15. Nice ovation as their quarterback, number 10, is back in the starting lineup, and the Giants will begin with a run to Willie Sharper, who fumbles, but it's picked up by the Giants. Fell right into the lap of Eric Flowers, so almost a disaster on the first play, but a little respect for Eli being back in this starting lineup, Charles.
You heard the ovation from the fans. They're excited about that. What they're not excited about is his first carry from Orleans Darkwa. That was a big hit there. Was that Anthony Hitchens, 59, I believe? Who lowered the boom on him and knocked the ball free before Eric Flowers pounced on it.
Gallman goes out as a wide receiver. They're going to set it up to Wayne Gallman. Looking for a block, gets out across the 20. Sean Lee, who's back in the lineup today for Dallas. He's their defensive leader, and he's there on the tackle.
The payoff for the ovation for Eli, for the Giants, though, has to be a good drive. They can't come out, have Eli get the ovation, and go 3 and out right away after Dallas marched downfield and scored. This is a big 3rd down early in the game for New York.
3rd and 4. 4-man rush, a draw to Gallman, who's looking for the first, fighting his way, gets belted, but he should have it, and the ball is out, I think. And the Giants I believe, have it. Jeff Heath came in with the rip. So some ball security issues on this first drive. Let's uncover this mess.
See Ingram 88 with a nice lead block, and there's the first initial tap. It's the second shot there. Jeff Heath puts a shoulder into the running back of Wayne Gallman and knocks the ball loose. And then the scramble takes place, and the Giants come up with Evan Ingram, who handled the first block, jumps on the ball. The second time already, the Giants come up with a fumble recovery.
Just like they planned it, Charles. 2 fumbles and a first down. Exactly right. And they'll run it here. Gallman again works his way out to the 35. And this rookie, a 4th-round pick from Clemson, Steve Spagnuolo pretty much gave us a hint. Hey, we want to take a look at this guy.
When he came out of college at Clemson, I rated him a poor man's Devontae Freeman. His ability to play hard with and without the football, his tough runs inside, and never say die to how he finishes runs. Ball security was a little bit of an issue, as we've seen early in this game.
He remains in on second, but they'll throw it. Manning, pressure coming, gets it over to Gallman, makes another play across the 40. And trying to break through tackles. He's got another Giants first down. Lee with a massive hit, but the Giants move the chains. And
then not only are they moving the chains, they're playing at a nice tempo and a nice pace after picking up the first down. But you saw how Gallman finished that run? That's what they like about him. He brings that extra bit of tempo and toughness to the running game.
Hey, go back. Go back. 118.
They'll run it. Gallman again up the middle. Nice little hole. And a good run out near the 48. Down to the sidelines we go with Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Kevin. Speaking to Eli Manning before the game, I asked him if he's ready for the emotions of all of this. He said, I just want to play football and hopefully get a win. That's the last thing the Dallas Cowboys want to happen. Jason Garrett told us that he feels that the Cowboys just need to mind their own business. Don't get caught up in what's going on with the Giants drama. Back to you.
Pam, it's a good point, but Jason Witten even admitted to us, you know what, there's a spark when an interim coach takes over. He lived it with Garrett when he was hired. A completion out near the first down marker. The spot here will be critical, as that's the good-looking rookie tight end, Evan Ingram. And we'll see where they put the ball down.
From where I'm looking at it, looks a little bit short in terms of the spot, which could bring up a key call right here for the Giants. And they are continuing to try and play fast, but I think they're going to want to take a look at it with the chains.
Yeah, I agree with you. From where we are, and we're almost right behind it in our broadcast booth. I think it's a hair shy.
Close enough for the officials to bring out the chains and measure it, and give the Giants and Cowboys a chance to regroup.
Boy, is that close. I mean, it's by an inch. But on Witten's point, Pam's reported Witten's point, Jason Garrett took over for Wade Phillips as an interim coach. Dallas beat a good Giants team and went 5-3 the rest of the way. So Witten says there is a spark.
There is a spark because guys now understand when the head coach is gone, when the general manager is gone, everyone's in play, especially when you bench Eli Manning for a game. So you better have a spark and come ready to play, and Jason Witten recognized that from his time in Dallas.
Now, you talked in the open of the show about Steve Spagnuolo being aggressive. 3rd and inches, you would think if they don't make it, they're going here, right?
To me, this is a great opportunity for it. Normally, you think quarterback sneak. I think they're going to turn and hand it to the tailback and try and pound it out here.
The tailback is Orleans Darkwa, who's in the game right now. That's Lewis in motion.
118.
And there's a penalty flag. Dallas may have jumped. Darkwa is buried, but let's see. Tyrone Crawford jumped off sides, and I don't think he was baited.
I think this has been an easy first down for the Giants because of the jump by Dallas. He was well into the backfield before the ball was snapped.
Offside, number 98, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Trying to get the jump was Tyrone Crawford, one of the Dallas Cowboys captains. Here he is, trying to get that, and you see he's off the ball and into the neutral zone before the ball snapped to Eli Manning. So the Giants didn't have to worry about wedging it out. They picked it up the easy way.
Discussion here with Walt Anderson and his crew. Crawford saying you got to see that, apparently wanting to let everyone know that someone moved before him, but that's not the case. And so it's a first down for the Giants. So Charles, after you said, hey, the Giants can't go 3 and out here, the ovation for Eli, Now all of a sudden they're moving. 8th play of the drive.
And because they're picking up first downs, they're able to play at that quicker tempo and feel good about what they're doing. And they got Dallas a little bit off balance, able to run the football effectively here in the early going.
And they bring on Shane Smith, who's like a third-string tight end, as a fullback here. He's done that role before. They will run it. Darkwa. Not much. Darkwa is tackled by Lawrence. Game break time, and let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. The Packers, like the Cowboys, are 6-6. Meanwhile, Cleveland just looking for their first win. Deshaun Kaiser connects with Josh Gordon for this 18-yard score. Gordon's first touchdown since 2013. All tied up at 7. Kevin?
Wow. Packers have to have it to remain in the playoff chase. Giants going quickly again. Look at this formation. They've got 3 linemen. Manning lets it rip. Ellison, oh, he missed him. He was wide open, but he threw it high.
You cannot miss when you have opportunities like we just saw there with the Giants. Wild formation, created confusion for Dallas, had a man running wide open down the middle of the field, number 85, Red Ellison, and they missed the opportunity. When you do that, it puts more doubt in your mind when you're 2-10. They've got to come back and get something positive right here.
Giants are 31st in the league on 3rd down. The Cowboys defensively are 30th. So something's got to give here. 3rd and 9. Movement again. I think the Cowboys jumped again. That was Lawrence. He's working against Bobby Hart on the right side.
Neutral zone infraction, number 90. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
A bad jump by DeMarcus Lawrence, but you have to understand, he came into this game understanding Bobby Hart was going to play. And you go back to the season opener, DeMarcus Lawrence had his way with Bobby Hart.
He did.
He came here excited about the chance to rush the passer, had 2 sacks in the season opener. He expects to get to the quarterback again today.
He also leads the NFL in sacks, by the way, with 13 and a half. So now 3rd and 4 after the penalty. Manning, 4-man rush. Pressure, steps away, complete. Shepard looking for the first down. He's got it. Nice move by Sterling Shepard. And another first down on this impressive Giants drive.
Sterling Shepard, number 87, just comes underneath Red Ellison, essentially screens off 2 Dallas defenders, and then Shepard uses his speed to outrun Anthony Brown to the corner. And then here's Bobby Hart doing a nice job there and gets some nice help inside from John Halapio, number 75, a guard.
11th play of this drive for the Giants. Darkwa now flashes out bottom of your screen as a wide receiver. Manning looking that way, completing instead over the middle. It's the tight end Ellison. Ball is loose again, but I think the play was over. It is. So Ellison is down at the 20 for a gain of 5. That's 3 times the ball slipped out on this opening drive.
They have a lot of emotion coming into this game, but they've got to channel it the right way, make sure they take care of the football. Don't let the emotion put you in positions where you're going to turn it over. He was clearly down on that play. The previous 2 fumbles by the backs. Fortunate to pop on both of those.
Alert! 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 50.
Play clock at 1. They get it off. They're running up the middle. Darkwa had a little hole, but boy, that closed quickly, and he fought his way for a 4-yard gain. Hitchens on the stop, and now a 3rd and 1 coming.
Now we talked about the dirty yards that Alfred Morris gets. That's exactly what Orleans Darkwa did there. Continue to drive and make it into a 3rd and short, and they'll continue to play quickly.
Give it to Darkwa again, and he's got a first down. This tempo is giving Dallas some problems here on the opening drive.
It is, and they're able to mix their play calls with it too. You notice where they're able to run the ball effectively. This is Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator. The tempo is continuing to drive things for the New York Giants right now, where Dallas is about a half step to a step behind.
Rod Marinelli,
run it and throw it.
The defensive coordinator on the left. Mike Sullivan, offensive coordinator for the Giants on the right. Last play of the quarter if they decide to snap it. They do. They'll run it again. Darkwa up the middle. Good run. Flag coming, though. He's inside the 10. Now let's see what the penalty is. A little extracurricular.
Holding, number 75, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And remember, at the top of the show, you highlighted in the injury report David Irving, defensive tackle, not playing today. Where are a lot of the yards coming right now for the Giants? Right up the middle, right up the gut where David Irving would play. And they're getting nice blocking, and the running backs are finishing those runs forward. So without a stalwart at defensive tackle, the Giants are taking advantage.
So we've had one quarter in the books. We've had 2 possessions, and the second one isn't even over yet. Ball control, the name of the game so far. Cowboys 3, Giants on the move.
So it's dealer's choice on the penalty call because John Halapio, 75, he hooks him there. And then on the opposite side, you had another hook there from number 69, Brett Jones, the center. They ended up calling it on Halapio, number 75, the offensive guard. So now it's 1st and 20 to start the second quarter.
Charles, how many first quarters do you see where you don't even get through 2 possessions?
Army-Navy yesterday.
Yeah, that's a great point. Not often, though.
Not often.
Not often. That is for sure. As we'll hand it off to Darker, and there is nowhere to go. Lawrence was there with some help from his friends, and it'll be a 2nd and long. DeMarcus Lawrence has really been an incredible story this year, and this is a guy that has had 2 back surgeries. He played through back pain last year. He also had a suspension at the beginning of the year, but he has flourished this year. He's been an absolute nightmare, 13.5 sacks, but that's the thing you talk about with him is he is just as good against the run as he was right there. 2nd and 19. They'll run it with Darkwa. Darkwa fights his way for a short gain, a 3rd and long.
Remember, we talked about how Dallas was going to feel a little bit let down after their drive that they didn't score a touchdown. I think for the Giants, just getting points on the board and getting back to even will constitute an excellent drive here. Obviously, they want to end in the end zone, but this drive has been a nice settling one to come right back at Dallas. Getting 3 out of this is paramount.
Darius Powell playing his first NFL game at the bottom of your screen wearing number 80, the old Victor Cruz number. They're going to set a draw here to Vereen, and that is not going to work. That was conservative.
I know that Steve Spagnuolo told his team to be bold, be brilliant, be relentless in the pursuit of victory. They didn't coach it that way there. I had just foreshadowed a little bit that getting 3 was paramount. Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator, I think that's exactly how he called that play. We're not giving up a chance to get 3 on this drive and get even.
So now a field goal attempt by Aldrich Rosas, who the Giants hope can be their kicker for a long time. He's had some promising signs this year. 34-yard field goal for him to try and tie it up. And we get a flag. This play never goes. Giants will move back.
Start number 73, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
It's on John Greco, and so move it back to a 39-yard field goal.
Shouldn't be a distance that should affect the kicker. But it's often odd when you have a penalty right beforehand and you've gone through your routine and now you got to come back and do it again.
Talked about the Army-Navy game yesterday. That was exactly the case in that game. Not right before the final kick, but certainly changed it. So now 39 yards for Rosas. Perfect, and we are tied at 3. So a couple of long drives, couple of field goals, 3-3 game. Well, if you like long drives, this is the game for you, Charles Davis. 16-play drive for the Cowboys, 17-play drive for the Giants. Problem is they both ended in field goals. I'm sure they would like to change that.
I think the Cowboys felt like it was a little disappointing to come out with a field goal. And I think the Giants felt like it was exhilarating to come out with a field goal to tie the ball game up, even though the crowd, of course, wanted them to push it downfield and try and score more.
Especially when you fumble twice and almost fumble 3 times on the opening drive, right? Here's Switzer, like a jet up the middle, out to the 30. He is electric on the returns. And Rosas, the kicker, was there to make the tackle. Dak Prescott back on the field next. Back with Steve Spagnuolo, the interim head coach, and this Giants defense. Look, it's been a big problem this year. It's not just been the offense, because this defense was excellent last year in a lot of areas. This year it's been the opposite of that. They have not put it together. Now, granted, injuries have been a big portion of that. But Spagnuolo today said in order to win this game, Charles, it's got to be on the defense. As handoff and a big carry for Morris on 1st down as he's going to pick up 7. And you think about it. He said, what did he say about Giants football, right?
Tradition. This is what Giants football is built on. It's built on the backs of great defenses. And you go all the way back. Pick your era, and you will talk about great Giant stars. Mel Hine, a two-way player. Andy Robustelli. Of course, Harry Carson. Lawrence Taylor. He wants them to play with those ghosts out there running around with his defense today, too.
Michael Strahan, Leonard Marshall, Antonio Pierce, all those guys as stacked up by the Giants D that time as Pierre-Paul was there with the rookie Munson. And it's interesting, in the defensive room, Coach Spagnuolo took us in there. They have pictures of all these guys around the defensive room. And he says, hey, take a look.
And not only does he have them take a look, he wants them to know who they are. Does a little research on them. Right now, they want them to research 3rd and short and how did the old Giants play it and see if they can get a stop. Push up!
Third down. Blitz picked up. Prescott gonna run. He's got a first down, sliding down at the 45. He waited for a while and then just took off and did it himself.
So the guy they want on 3rd down is number 11, Cole Beasley. But this is what's been happening all year. Double coverage. They run him right into it, and people want to take away Cole Beasley, and because he doesn't have him, Dak Prescott uses his legs and picks up the first down.
Yeah, Beasley had 75 catches last year, a lot on 3rd down, and he's only got 30 catches this year. Coming in, he had 1 catch already in this game. He'll fake the run. Prescott steps up, lets it go, and it's complete. What a catch by James Hanna, the backup tight end who held on.
And how about that? This is his 2nd catch for the entire season. Play action, they were able to run the ball effectively, so on 1st down, you come with the play action. Hanna beats Ross Cockrell across the field, and with a fingertip catch, hauls it in for a big play for Dallas.
Gain of 16 and a first down from Giants territory. Here is Morris. Good cut. Alfred Morris down to the 35 for a gain of 4 as we get another game break from Carissa Thompson.
Well, Kevin, big playoff implications in this one. Tied at 7 in the second when Jonathan Stewart caps off a 14-play, 89-yard drive with his 2nd touchdown already today. Panthers lead 14-7. Kevin, Charles, and Payne.
That is a monster game, especially for the Panthers, who take the lead there. The Vikings have won 8 in a row, trying to get home field. They have the number 1 seed right now, and concern here for Damon Harrison, one of the best interior players in the league. As he's holding his hand, they work on him. We'll be back in a moment with the injury to Harrison.
So 2 plays ago, Snacks Harrison, this is where we think he hurt his hand trying to run down Dak Prescott. He's out of the game at the moment. Robert Thomas replaces him.
They're putting some tape on it, according to Pam Oliver, and they're going to throw it. Prescott going deep for Des Bryant. He dropped it again! His 2nd drop of the game. He's got 9 on the year, and you've got to catch that.
When you call for the ball, when you say you want the football, and this is a game that he should have great opportunities. He actually beats Brandon Dixon clearly off the line of scrimmage and never really sees it. Look where the ball hits him first. It gets through his hands and gets to his face mask before he can haul it in. Another clear drop by Des Bryant.
And so it sets up a 3rd down and 6. Rod Smith in the game at tailback. Prescott looking to run, looking to throw. Beasley, he couldn't hold on. Cowboys have a case of the drop passes here today.
Jason Garrett told us that they worked outside more this week to try and get ready for the weather conditions because it was cooler in the Metroplex area back in Dallas in the 40s. Tried to get them right for this. Apparently it didn't take. Back-to-back drops by one, the sure-handed Cole Beasley, and another one by Des Bryant leads to a field goal attempt.
53-yarder for Dan Bailey, who is perfect on the year. He missed some time with a groin injury. This is not his season long, which is 56. This one is up. This one is no good. A doinkaroo. Couple drops and a doink. Here's one. That was Beasley, would have been a first. Then you had the other one, could have been a touchdown right here. And then you had the doink. And now you've got a 3-3 game. in MetLife Stadium. Back in a minute. Who's as close to perfect as you can be in his career, misses sometimes. From 53 yards out, you got that, but the Cowboys dropped 2 gimmies, which would have been big plays and certainly first downs, and the Giants and Cowboys tied at 3. And here's the Giants' second possession with 9:41 to go in the half. Manning to throw, looking far side, has a completion. It's Rhett Ellison, the tight end, who's out up near midfield. You know, these Giants, Charles, my goodness, they have injuries, right? Odell Beckham, the ankle boot, he's out. I mean, Brandon Marshall got hurt in that week 5 too.
Paul Perkins was supposed to be the starting running back. He got hurt.
They need some weapons right here. They've had a good season from their young tight end, Evan Ingram, number 88, but they are looking for some help.
Well, Evan Ingram, 88, Sterling Shepard, 87 are their key ones.
That's why Gallman's playing today. He's got it first, but there's a penalty on the far side of the field, right at the line of scrimmage.
If they're going to throw the ball, 88 Ingram and 87 Shepard will be the primary guys. They want to run it today. Gallman looks like he's going to get the bulk of the carries. He and Darkwa.
Offside, number 96, defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's the 3rd time they've been offsides today.
The Cowboys are making mistakes that allow the Giants to hang around. A 2-10 team playing with emotion. That emotion's getting a payoff because Dallas is making mistakes on their own. And so now that allows the Giants to continue this drive. And if you let a team like that continue to hang around and get some confidence, you're in a fight down the stretch.
And we get a penalty right back.
False start, number 22, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So offensively for the Giants, right? Take a look at this. This is with Eli Manning as a quarterback, okay? So we're going to split it up like this. Coughlin is a head coach. McAdoo is a head coach. Now, we understand McAdoo was the offensive coordinator for the last 2 years under Coughlin. But when McAdoo went to being a head coach, they never had any offense. It was a misconception last year because they went to the playoffs, but their offense was never really great. And that's why he's not here. And one of the reasons he's not here. Over the middle, incomplete, as Manning tried to get it to Gallman.
He was under duress from DeMarcus Lawrence, number 90. Put pressure on Eli Manning, didn't allow him to get comfortable in the pocket. Watch Lawrence coming at you on the pass rush. He's working against Bobby Hart, 68, works all the way inside and then gets back outside to make sure Eli Manning knows he's there. And Manning on the run tries to throw it back inside and is inaccurate.
2nd down and 15. Manning to throw over the middle, has a completion. Rhett Ellison's been a frequent target today as he gets down to the 43-yard line. And it'll bring up a 3rd down. The Giants going quick here, trying to catch Dallas subbing. His players sprint off the field. Manning on 3rd down, looking, throwing, complete, short of a first down. They're not going to get there. Roger Lewis made the catch, but he was tackled immediately. And now what do you do?
Well, Steve Spagnuolo said he wanted his team to be bold, brilliant, and relentless. This is the time to be bold. This is a great opportunity, and it looks like he wants to play field position here. I think that he's looking for a closer opportunity, meaning 4th and 1 to go for it. This is more like 4th and 2, 2.5. And Spags wants it, and he relies on his defensive roots. Punt it and play defense here.
Yeah. Well, Cowboys call a timeout there, so they use their first timeout as the Giants were set to punt. It's kind of a strange time to call a timeout. So here are the Giants in this crazy week. They fire their general manager, they fire their head coach, and, they're hanging, right? It's a 3-3 game. It's a game that means everything to the Cowboys.
Absolutely everything to the Cowboys. When your quarterback, Dak Prescott, says we don't talk about it much, but we know the playoffs actually begin today, they're feeling a little bit of that. When you're the Giants, rivalry game, you need something to salvage your season. Eli Manning back as the starting quarterback, and they're playing accordingly. They just got cut down on some of the errors, and I will admit I'm a little surprised they're not going for it here.
Yeah, especially Coach Spagnuolo said, hey, we're going to be aggressive. They haven't yet, right? They've been a little conservative. 3rd down draw deep in the red zone, and now this on the punt. But obviously it's a 3-3 game. That is not the result you want. So it really looks bad now when the punt goes into the end zone, and Dallas will take over on the 20. Time for Dak Prescott and company. Tied for threes.
So, Kevin, this is where they started, right? When they punted the ball to 37, they end up netting it right there to the 20. It's only 17 yards net when we talked about them going for it, being bold today with a 2-10 record, trying to knock a team out of a playoff chase.
Well, they are tied, but that didn't gain them much, obviously. And so the Cowboys take over.
Go.
On first down, this is Rod Smith. He makes a nice cutback and a spin. Great effort by Smith. That was a heck of a 4.5-yard run. Well, Dez Bryant wants the ball, right? But when you want the ball, you got to catch the ball and produce. And you think about where this guy was, Charles. He was a monster from 2012 to 2014. Over 1,200 yards each year. Over 12 touchdowns each year. Now you see it. He was hurt in 2015 a little bit, missed some time. His production has gone down as you documented, drops. He came in 5th most in the league. He's got 2 today, both costly. Fake the run. Prescott's got all day. Look, firing, incomplete.
And to continue that with Dez, they are doubling and taking away Cole Beasley, most defenses. When you watch tape on key plays, they're taking away Cole Beasley. They want to take away Beasley. They want to take away Jason Witten. And look at all the traffic there that Dak Prescott is trying to fit that one in to number 85 there, Noah Brown.
Hey, Giants.
3rd down and 5. Beasley wasn't in on that one. He's back in here. And there he goes in motion, number 11.
And that's what they have to do. Get him on the move. Get him in different spots and try and shake him free.
Prescott looking at him, throwing his way. The catch, but Collins is there to throw. Beasley's still on his feet, but he's tackled short. A good effort by Beasley, but Collins made the play.
And in order for him to get the ball, he actually had to keep coming back towards the line of scrimmage. Watch Kevin. Kevin, right there, Cole Beasley's established. He's set. He has to keep coming back towards Dak Prescott. And then Landon Collins is there, throws him. Beasley stays on his feet, and then Collins helps finish him off. But I like what Dallas did, getting him on the move to try and move him to different spots to make it tougher to double him downfield.
Done it all game. One guy underneath, one guy over the top, and it's working. Good high kick. Raymond going to let it go, and it's out of bounds somewhere around the 30. We'll see where the mark is as Chris Jones with a good high unreturnable punt, and they'll put it at the 32. Giants take over, tied at 3. Big game here at MetLife Stadium back in northern New Jersey. Giants 2-10 trying to play spoiler. Cowboys have to have it. Kayvon Frazier, 2nd-year safety from Central Michigan, in for the first time today. He will rotate series with Byron Jones. More on him in a second as they will run it here. It's Darkwa, and Darkwa makes a man miss and gets out for a 3-yard gain. It's interesting. He started to rotate into the rotation last week, Charles, and you could see a difference.
A big difference, especially in how he attacked the line of scrimmage in the run game. Big-time hits, big physical play that they're looking for from the safeties. So if you're the Giants, I would think play action with him. Run hard play action and try and get something over the top, because he likes to stick his nose in there in the running game.
Jason Garrett said his physicality is contagious. He's a hard hitter. They will throw it, as you said, Charles. They'll throw it in the flat this time. Darkwa, good move, and Darkwa out for a first down. That was nice. Lee on the tackle, but he made Wilson miss.
This is what you're looking for, those hidden yards where a back gets more than what is there, or a receiver gets more than what is there. Darkwa to the left, into the flat. Here comes Damian Wilson, should put him down right there. Watch him make him miss. And then ends up going past Sean Lee. Lee gets him down, but gets enough to pick up a first down. Well done by Orleans Darkwa.
Hey, we got 3 rockets, 59. 3 rockets each.
From the 44 on first down, blitz coming, it's Woods. Manning has a man wide open. It's Ingram, the tight end. Big hookup, and they burn the blitz. Evan Ingram with a catch and a gain of 35.
We talked about the play action coming into effect for him here. Didn't have to because it was in shotgun. They decided to blitz Xavier Woods, as you noted, Kevin. And there's Eli Manning seeing and anticipating the blitz. Audibles into the pass play. Woods gets there a step late, and Ingram creates the big play downfield.
Manning, the throw, going far side to Lewis, who makes the catch and is hit immediately. But another one of those young secondary guys, Jordan Lewis, the rookie third-round pick out of Michigan. There is Lewis, young secondary. They revamped everything. They changed the entire secondary from last year, so they've had some bumps and bruises, Charles. But they like what they have back there developing anyway.
They do. They like their aggressiveness. And they like what they hope will turn into more ball hawking ability. Let's see if Darius Poe gets involved as a big body receiver in the red zone.
Nope, they'll run it to Gallman, and Gallman goes nowhere because Sean Lee is there. Game break, checking in with Carissa. Hang on, we got a flag. Hold on, Carissa. We got a late flag coming in.
Powell. Yeah, I want to make sure I get that correct. Darius Powell is the wide receiver just called up from the practice squad.
Holding, number 98, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
We see this a lot when they feel like linemen are trying to get downfield and get out. Defensive linemen will hold that offensive lineman so he can't get downfield and get to the next level for a block. Let's take a look. Crawford would be over here somewhere, wouldn't he? That was Crawford. He was on the edge, so if it's 98, he did not hold.
Yeah, that was, it must have been somewhere else because it wasn't there. But it's a first down for New York. Manning to throw. Pressure goes over the middle. He's got a man Gallman inside the 5. Giants can actually get a first down here. Game break time. Carissa, what do you got for us?
Well, Kevin, the Packers trying to stay in the playoff hunt. Cleveland looking for their first win. We were tied at 7 when Deshaun Kaiser finds Duke Johnson. Browns lead this one 14-7. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
Wow. Again, Green Bay has to have it right now. 6-6 with the prospects of Rodgers coming back. 2nd and 3. Gallman the tailback. Giants go big formation. They'll run it. Gallman dancing, fighting forward, and is at least close to a first down at the 1. And we'll see where they put the ball. He may have it. Charles, we're still looking for that holding call, and maybe we found it.
So right there, Dayton Jones, who's just been signed by Dallas, right there. See that grab? See the hand that he's got right there on Brett Jones, number 69, the center, trying to hold him up so he can't get downfield and block. We believe that's where the penalty occurred. They just got the wrong number in their call.
Good job by our tape crew finding that penalty. Measurement here.
That's a big-time find amidst all those bodies.
Sure is. He's got it. 1st and goal coming up.
But if you are going to throw the ball here, you throw it off a play action, 1st or 2nd down. This is your opportunity. Show your heavy set, throw the ball there if that's what you want. If you're feeling it, though, you go with that heavy set, the extra blockers, extra tight ends, and go ahead and try and pound it. And I would use Gallman in this situation.
Giants are going to go extra big here. They're going to bring in Robert Thomas.
And it looks like Darkwa is on the field as their runner. Thomas, a backup defensive lineman, lines up here as a fullback.
It's hard to miss. Darkwa up the middle, stacked up, pushing. He did not get in. Well done by this Dallas front. And it seems like Sean Lee is always around it, isn't he?
If you want to find the football and running plays, just find number 50 in blue and follow him to the ball as a general rule. But if you're the Giants and you're going to bring Robert Thomas in off the bench as a defensive tackle to block, he's got to go in there and find someone to hit.
Giants have 4 rushing touchdowns all year, which is 29th in the league. There's Thomas, the big defensive lineman. They'll fake it. Man, looking, throwing, touchdown! Ellison.
Going to throw it off of these sets. It's 1st or 2nd down. The Giants come back with 2nd down. Show the running play with the heavy blocking and end up bringing Ellison out almost like a pivot coming out of there, spins around, catches it, and goes to the ground and gets into the end zone. Remember, he's not touched as he grabs the ball, so he can roll into the end zone, and he does before the contact comes from the Dallas defender.
Second touchdown catch of the year for Rhett Ellison as they look at it. But again, it's when he's touched, he catches, he rolls.
And there's the contact, and the ball should be breaking the plane.
I think this will stand, and it will. Ellison, the touchdown from Manning on a beauty of a play fake, and now the extra point from Rosas. And now the Cowboys have some trouble on their hands. You come in, you're taking on a 2-10 team who just fired their head coach. You need it. You're on the periphery of the playoffs. You're 6-6, and they've given the Giants life.
Jason Witten, the all-star tight end for Dallas, warned his teammates. I was here when our head coach got his job. We were 1-7, made the change, created a spark. We beat a very good Giants team. That very weekend went 5-3 the rest of the year. It does happen. You've got to be prepared for it. So far, they have not been fully prepared for what the Giants have brought to them.
So Manning had a big hookup on that play to Evan Ingram. They beat the blitz. That really set it all up. And then the beauty of the play action hitting Rhett Ellison. Look at this, their first lead since week 12. And look, this team has been through it, right? You got to remember, they were 11-5. They were a wild card team. They lost to the Packers last year. So a lot of people said, hey, this might be a Super Bowl team this year. Obviously, it's been the opposite way. They had a lot of injuries. That's been part of it. Odell Beckham Jr., he goes down in week 5. That was one of many for them. Manning taken out of the lineup for the first time in 210 straight games. That was a disaster every way around, including from a public standpoint, because Eli's their guy, right? I mean, these Giant fans, Eli's their guy. So when the team's not going well and you take out their guy, that's what the feedback is, right? And so you think about it, the last time the Giants fired a general manager and a head coach in the season, you got to go back to the 70s. But that's how it doesn't get bad like that around here often, Charles. This is a great organization, and it has been historically, but they felt like they needed a change.
And they really wanted to get to the end of the season before they made that change. But once the Eli Manning benching took place, and they knew they were going to finish their season with 3 or 4 games at home, I think management was compelled at that point to make a move, because there's no way they could bring that coach back in here for this game.
So here's Prescott looking to throw, has a completion, and he's got a man out to the 35-yard line with Williams, who's got the catch, and that should be enough for a first down. That should take us to the 2-minute warning. Mike Sullivan and Eli Manning have got the lead. Well, it's the Crossroads Classic tipping off Saturday, 11:30 Eastern. It's Purdue against Butler, followed by Notre Dame against Indiana. Catch the action on Fox. We're streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Jeff Nelson, our stat man, will be very interested in all this Indiana stuff. Right, Nelly? 1:59 to go in the first half. Here's Prescott and the Cowboys needing something here. They need a spark. First catch by Bryant, who's had 2 drops today, but he makes that catch and he's out for a first down out across the 45.
And now this gives Dak Prescott a chance to be a little more creative. 2-minute drill, able to utilize his wide receivers, tight ends. Can they spread it out a little bit? Find spots to try and get the ball downfield and create a scoring opportunity. And if necessary, take off and go. Use your legs, Dak Prescott.
By the way, Damon Harrison is back in for the Giants. Showed you leaving earlier with a finger injury. He's back in, number 98 in the middle, which is big. Prescott has time. Going to dump it near side to Smith, who the momentum kind of carried him out of bounds right at midfield.
This is another place where they miss Zeke Elliott, because he's an excellent pass catcher out in the backfield. And when you look at the Cowboys for the year, Alfred Morris has 2 catches. Rod Smith came into the game with 8. Ezekiel Elliott for the season had 19 by himself before the suspension. So another spot where they're missing him, 2-minute offense, and his ability to catch it downfield.
That's a great call. Plenty of time. Giants showing blitz right up the middle. Here they come from the other side. Bryant makes a great catch and loses Dixon. Dez Bryant all the way. Touchdown.
If you ask for the football, if you demand the football, and you have a chance to make plays, you need to make them. And Dez Bryant does on that one. Brandon Dixon gets caught up in a physical battle, and you don't win very many of those with Dez Bryant. He shows excellent hands there, shakes him off, and takes it the distance. If you're going to play him one-on-one in the open field, he needs to win in the open field, and on that play, he did.
Now that's the guy that Cowboys fans have become used to seeing. They needed it from him, and he delivered a 50-yard touchdown to Des Bryant, his 16th high of the year. We're tied at 10, and we'll be back at 30 seconds after this message from Pizza Hut and Duracell.
And earlier we were talking about who are the playmakers for the Giants. Well, we know who the playmakers are for Dallas. All 22 view. This is one-on-one, and Dak Prescott knows he's got his big guy in that spot. Give him an opportunity. He wins at the line of scrimmage with the route, gets inside of Brandon Dixon, and then wins the fight for the football when it's contested, and then takes it the distance. A play sorely needed by the Dallas Cowboys.
Here's Vereen on the return, and he gets tripped up just before the 24-yard line. So the Giants with 1:32 and all 3 timeouts left.
That was excellent recognition by Dak Prescott, too, as the quarterback. To know, I've got one-on-one with Des Bryant. He may have dropped a couple, but I'm going to keep giving him opportunities to make plays. And that's exactly what he did. As you see him going over it on the sideline, Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, dialing a few things up.
They've just got to have him. That's the bottom line, especially with Elliott out. They've got one more game without Elliott. They've got to have plays like that from Bryant, and that was huge. And we're tied at 10. Giants have plenty of time in all 3 timeouts here. Here's Vereen on the draw. Shane Vereen. Not much. Another tackle for Sean Lee. Giants getting to the line quickly at least. 4-man rush. Manning over the middle. Vereen makes the catch and the adjustment, and it'll be shy of a first down by a yard. And there's a penalty flag far side of the field, back behind the line of scrimmage.
Offside, number 93, defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
That is 4 offsides penalties against Dallas today. And Charles, they are a very infrequently penalized team.
And a minimum of 2 just lining up incorrectly.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Benson Mayowa lining up in the neutral zone. That's that unforced error that you don't need to make. Look down and see where you're lined up and get in the right spot.
I mean, they are the 3rd least penalized team in the NFL, so this is a little out of character for them here today. Jason Garrett's teams usually are pretty disciplined. Not today. Second down and short. They call it 1. They'll run it again. Looking for a little room, and good enough for a first down that time. It's Vereen again with 1:02 to go. Again, all 3 timeouts for New York. They're hurrying to the line.
So remember, the playmakers for the Giants throwing it downfield are 88 Ingram and 87 Shepard.
Quick gets rid of, but a throw behind Ingram. There's your guy, the tight end, and that'll stop the clock. So Eli Manning, of course, got a nice ovation when he took the field after his start streak, taking on the lineup last week. Fans kind of revolted. Played pretty well so far. 13 of 16, 109 yards, and the touchdown. Second down. Manning pressure. He's in trouble. On the run. Throws complete. And there is the first NFL catch for Darius Powell, who's in there. He's been with this team's practice squad for the last couple of years, and that'll be a good one to remember for number 80.
And Powell did a nice job of hooking up his route, recognizing his quarterback was on the move, and coming back and getting the football.
Manning on 3rd down. Has time. Looking. Now going to let it fly, and he's looking for Powell, who cut his route short. Little miscommunication there.
But remember, they practice scramble routes. What a quarterback does when he moves around. Darius Powell just up from the practice squad. Hasn't had that same amount of practice to understand. Eli Manning expected him on that move to take it upfield. He threw the ball to the spot where he expected Darius Powell to end up. Powell with more time with the starters, he'll learn that and get better at it.
Now keep your eye on this man, Ryan Switzer, who returned a punt for a touchdown 10 days ago against Washington. He had 7 punt touchdowns in college. Is he going to try it? No. He will call a fair catch. And Dallas will take over there with still some time left on the clock of 15 seconds. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we left the comfy confines of our LA studio and headed east over here to historic LA Coliseum, where the Rams will take on the Eagles later on Fox. But first, we'll see you at halftime of your game where we'll catch you up. Visa Halftime takes flight next.
I want to know if Kurt was actually flying that little drone there. That was impressive.
That was impressive.
Cowboys look like they will take a knee. They will, and that'll do it for a very competitive first half of football here between the Giants and the Cowboys, all tied at 10.
No one happier than the Giants being tied at 10, but the Cowboys getting right before the half.
Take a look at some fun from Week 13. Sounds from the field, brought to you by Walmart.com.
That's a Pro Bowl play right there.
Walmart.com now offering free two-day shipping. Touchdowns in this game, Ellison for Dallas, and then Bryant tying it up. Let's go to Kurt at the Coliseum. The Giants trying to be a pest to the Cowboys' playoff chances, and we've had ourselves a good first half. Tied at 10. Giants took the lead. Cowboys came right back with a big play to Dez, 50-yard touchdown. And so that's where we stand heading into this third quarter, and the Giants will get the ball. Cowboys won the toss and took it to start. It's been a pretty even game, Charles. No sacks, no turnovers. There's been a couple of big plays for a couple of teams that honestly don't make big plays very often.
Yeah, and what I think about this game now is if the Dallas Cowboys want this game, they've got to go take it. The Giants have shown they're not going to roll over and just let it happen. If the Giants want this game, they're going to have to be even bolder than what we saw in the first half, because the Cowboys have gotten back to even. So when they have those opportunities, third and short, fourth and short, they're going to have to go ahead and go for it and press it a little bit here.
Yeah, and to your point about the Cowboys, Jason Garrett said, look, we've got to be ourselves, be physical, run the football. So you're kind of feeling now that it's tied again, you might see a heavy dose of that. But the Giants get the ball first, and this second half is underway as Raymond will take it right at the goal line. Looking to make a play, and he's got some room. Makes a move, flag flies though. Raymond cut short around the 23. Let's see what the penalty is with Walt Anderson.
Holding number 48, receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So bad field position to start this half for the Giants. Down to the field we go with Pam Oliver.
There, Kevin, I talked to Jason Garrett just about that Dez touchdown. He said Dak Prescott did a great job handling the pressure, but he's unhappy with some of the miscues, obviously, and he said they've left some missed opportunities. Defensively, he feels good about the way that they're playing, and he hopes that continues. Meantime, Steve Spagnuolo, he told me defensively, we're doing a good job at least making them drive, but he felt like that touchdown was obviously a bummer. He's happy about the way they're running the ball, and he feels like that will open up more opportunities for the offense.
Pam on cue. They run the ball pretty well here to start with Gallman, who makes his fifth carry, and that is a gain of 5.
The biggest pass plays we saw in the first half both came against the blitz. As Pam talked about on the Dez Bryant play, there was a blitz by the Giants. They beat that in one-on-one. And the Giants pass to Evan Ingram also came against the blitz for a big play downfield.
Manning to throw it. Going to set up a middle screen. Gallman looking for some room, and he's tackled by Lee again. He's got a first down for the Giants, but Sean Lee in his return from that hamstring injury has been an animal. He's got 11 tackles already, Charles, and we've just started the half.
But he sees the New York on the side of the helmets. He comes to play. All right, in the last bunch of games that he's played against them now, he has really put up numbers. 91 tackles coming into this game in the last 9 games against the Giants.
He is a monumental difference maker, is Lee. His only problem has been injuries in the past, and this year, of course, he's been out. He's missed 5 games total with a bad hamstring, but in there today and making a difference. First down and a good run. Gallman breaks a tackle, and he's got a first down for New York. Oh, we were talking about Sean Lee. It is a monster difference with and without. Look at the record. That's an obvious one. But points per game, it's 10 points different. Almost 11. Rush yards per game, 50 yards better with Sean Lee. I mean, what else do you need to see, Charles? The guy is a difference maker, and he's the heart and soul of this defense.
No doubt about it. And also Anthony Hitchens, the other inside linebacker, making a big difference as well when he's on the field.
And a short gain by Gallman. And here's the thing, Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator for the Giants, talking to him for a while, and Mike is a heck of a guy, and he said, I'll tell you what, I love Sean Lee. He said at some point, you can't do it when we're playing him. At some point, I hope there's a Pro Bowl maybe where I could just go up to him. I want to buy him a soda pop because he is a special player. That's, from a coordinator, that's high praise, Charles.
Certainly is, and he wants to pick his brain a little bit too.
Yeah, Manning to throw, and he's got a man, Lewis, who broke free. Lewis broke free from Lewis, and he made the catch.
Someone fell down in the secondary as well. I think Jordan Lewis, number 27, that helped Roger Lewis, number 18, come free in the secondary as the Cowboys continue to make changes on the fly as the Giants do not huddle very often and get right up to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Giants almost caught him on a switch earlier. So it is a first down, and they'll run it again to Gallman, and nothing. Cowboys were all over that. Anthony Hitchens was there. Got some help from Dayton Jones, the former Packer.
Yeah, I think Dayton Jones blew this up initially, and Hitchens cleaned it up. Jones, that they just picked up, the former first-round pick from Green Bay. He's done some nice work. Watch him inside here, working on the tilt. See how he just takes the center and just racks him back. Brett Jones snapped the ball. That tilt reminiscent of Mean Joe Green in his Pittsburgh days on an opposing center.
Second down, it's a draw play. Marine has got it. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. As you saw that play, again, the Giants firing the general manager, Jerry Reese, the head coach, Ben McAdoo. Look, they're trying to catch Dallas in a sub again, and they force a timeout. So they almost caught him before, and they did catch him this time. Jason Garrett calls a timeout to save a penalty.
This is good aggressive coaching by the New York Giants, able to move it quickly. Dallas trying to get it done, and that's really nice job by Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator, Eli Manning, the quarterback, dictating to the Dallas Cowboys. If you want to make those switches, you better be a lot quicker than that. We'll catch you.
So what do you do if you're in this situation? They're
simplify. Simplify if you're Dallas. And right now they're trying to rotate too many guys in and out based on down and distance. This is kind of old school football. Nowadays you have to have guys who can be hybrids, who can be on the field and play any down and distance. Right? Quick decisions, easy answers, so you don't have to do all this subbing and switching, which the Giants are counting on them doing and maybe catching them for a big play.
So with all that, Cowboys use a timeout. Giants have it third down and 10. Manning has some time, gonna let it fly, going for Lewis, knocked away. Lewis on Lewis again, and that time the rookie Jordan Lewis had perfect coverage.
So Roger Lewis Jr. 1-1 when Jordan Lewis fell down, but watch this coverage. See how he sees him on the stop and go. Look how Lewis, 27, gets his head turned around and makes a play on the football. He feels the receiver with his left hand on the number 18 and then goes for the football. And Roger Lewis does a nice job helping knock it away.
Short kick. Beasley to receive. Cole Beasley out across the 25. It's actually the first return Beasley had. He usually is a fair catch guy. Great hands. First return of the year. Cowboys football tied at 10. After going to break, but we had to go to commercial. And this happened, Charles. Dak Prescott's got the nice goopaline with the little snowball on top, and he forgot his helmet.
He wanted to go old school there.
That's great.
You know?
He was so anxious to get out there.
We are in New Jersey.
Got to say goopaline.
Right? The first collegiate football game played here in this state. They weren't wearing helmets then.
That's beautiful. Prescott's played well today, trying to get these Cowboys the lead as they'll run it to Alfred Morris, who picks up 5 on that first down run. And as far as Prescott goes, you look at it, and Dallas offense hasn't been as good. Partly Elliott's been out. There's a lot of factors. But you asked him what he thought of his year.
Yeah, and he thinks that he's become a better quarterback, and I would agree with him. Better recognition of defenses, understanding what people are going to throw at him, better patience in the pocket now because people aren't allowing him to just get out and run the football the way that he did before. He just needs his guys out wide like Des Bryant did in the first half to win on the perimeter when they get their one-on-one opportunities.
Here's Morris. And Alfred Morris is eating for a snack. By snacks, Harrison, that is. So obviously that finger's okay. Made a nice tackle. One more thing on Dak. The audibles. To me, that's something he's done a lot more of this year.
They're allowing him to do more of that. I thought that they coached him very well as a rookie. They met him halfway with collegiate stuff to get him going. And then as the season went on, they introduced more and more concepts, more and more things that would be done the NFL way. And he ate all of them up with extra film study, extra practice time, and he's putting it all into effect this year, even though he doesn't have all the weapons he had last year.
Third down. Prescott coming near side. There's Beasley. What a play on the ball. What a play by Daryl Morris. Getting some rare time in at quarterback and making a nice knockaway.
Watch Morris, 23 and white. He sees Beasley. He anticipated Beasley breaking to the outside. Notice how he put himself in position for Beasley to break right into him. And then, as you noted, made an excellent play on the football and knocked it away.
Cole Beasley today has 3 catches for 5 total yards. That's an unbelievable job by the Giants, and that's really been the story of Beasley's year. He's been the focus for opposing defenses. Raymond slips and falls, and that's that. So the Giants will have the ball inside their own 20 when we return to MetLife Stadium. Tied at 10. Giants D does their job. That's what the Giants have done. They had a great opening drive, settled for a field goal to match the Cowboys' long opening drive, and then big play on a blitz beater that resulted in a touchdown to Rhett Ellison. That's the scoring for them. We're tied at 10, and they have, well, they've been balanced today. Very balanced. It's been a key why they're in this game. Orleans Darkwa is the tailback. 1st and 10. They'll start it from their own 18. And in trouble. Hit as he throws, incomplete. And there was the NFL sack leader, Mr. Lawrence, causing havoc as usual.
He's what offensive coordinators call an eraser, because he can erase the good plays that you put up on a drawing board. See him going past Bobby Hart there, and he just stayed with it. Hart really didn't do a bad job. That was not a poor job of blocking. It's just that Eli had to hold it a little bit longer, and Lawrence's hustle got him to the quarterback.
Sean Lee is not in the game. He was, kind of jogging it down the sideline. I don't know if that hamstring's acting up. He's standing on the sideline right now as Darkwa makes the play. Interesting about Lawrence, though. I want to go back to him. Mike Sullivan told us some fascinating stuff about calling plays when DeMarcus Lawrence is out there.
But he's got plays that he notes in red that if Lawrence is on the field, he won't call them because of what he can do in the pass rush.
Giants go quick, and they got Lewis wide open out across the 40. So again, that quick to the line, and they got Dallas caught again, and they've got a first down.
And I will guarantee you those plays involve 5 to 7 step drops. And look at them again. See, again, the confusion of what they're doing and trying to get guys rolled in and out of the game. I think Dallas has got to start thinking about being simpler in their coverages and keeping guys on the field and playing through.
They're really having some trouble with that today. Kudos to Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator for the Giants. Handoff, Darkwa, left side. And he gets stacked up by Wilson, who was there first, but Darkwa's got 5.
You know what also happens, Kevin, when Dallas is having to make a lot of wholesale substitutions? You're always looking at the sideline. Am I in? Am I out? You know what else that does? It takes away your decisiveness in playing. Am I going to run to the football, make a play, or am I wondering if I should be on the field right now? Dallas, the Giants have them on their heels a little bit.
2nd down, pressure from Charlton. Manning's going to loft it far side for Gallman, incomplete. And so that'll slow things down, and a 3rd down coming up as Lee's been out this entire series, leading tackler today with 13. Again, he just missed a month with a hamstring issue.
So what you're hoping if you're a Dallas fan is that he's just getting some time off because it's his first game back after missing 5.
Certainly possible, but that's not normal for him.
No, it is not. But that's what you're hoping if you're a Dallas fan.
So Jalen Smith has been in. You're right. Sorry, Charles. Make it a 3rd down and 5. Vereen in the game at tailback. Man, has time. Serving. Sidestepping. Lofting for Vereen. Just long. Woods on the coverage. Manning and Vereen just missed, and a punt coming up. I think Vereen wants a penalty.
And I think that they may be looking for one on Evan Ingram, number 88, with Anthony Brown in coverage. Watch here. Look at Brown. Pretty handsy with him downfield. Probably not enough to draw the flag, and Ingram had to try and play through it, but that may have been what they were looking at as well.
Here's Wing. This punt is long, and Twitch is going to let it go, and it goes into the end zone. And so the Cowboys will have it on their own 20. Tied with the Giants at 10. 7:27 to go in the third.
On the last pass play, there's a lot of reaction. You heard it here from the home crowd. They wanted a foul here against Xavier Woods, against Shane Vereen. I didn't think there was enough there. I thought that they were playing it. They stumbled into him a little bit, but not enough to draw the flag.
I'd agree with you. Pitch to Alfred Morris, running left, breaking free. Morris, good hard run. Out across the 25. They're going to mark him at the 28, so an 8-yard run by the longtime Redskin.
Remember how we started this game? We talked about Alfred Morris and attrition, body blows in how he runs the football, accumulation over time, and in the fourth quarter maybe he pops something big. I think this drive is one I would expect Dallas to try and reestablish the running game with Morris, and they're using a lot of extra tight ends on the field on this snap.
On cue, Charles, here's Morris again, patiently running. First down and more. Penalty flies, though. Morris into Giants territory, but let's see what the penalty is. This may be coming back, and I think it is.
Holding, number 82. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Of all people, Jason Witten, their veteran leader, their perennial Pro Bowl tight end who does such a great job in blocking. Here he is, 82, right in the middle there. And you see right there the hand, right to the right there on the jersey of number 90, Jason Pierre-Paul, and that's what they flagged him for. A huge run for Dallas comes back. No catches today for Jason Witten. Last week, 1 catch. Teams are doing a nice job taking him away in the passing game.
That's still weird to see for him.
To put it mildly.
Exactly. Rod Smith in the game, 2nd and 12 after the penalty that obliterated a long run from Alfred Morris. 3-man rush. They're going to set it up to Williams, makes a move, and Terrence Williams out across the 20. Game break now. Check in on that big Carolina game with the Vikings. Carissa Thompson has it for us.
You're right about that, Kevin. Huge game for both of these teams. First drive after halftime. Cam Newton avoiding the sack as the pocket collapses, connecting Devin Funchess for this 18-yard touchdown as his team up 21-13. Kev?
Carissa, thanks. We had to bail. Cowboys going fast, complete, and a first down. It's Smith. So Prescott did a great job there as you see Carolina with the lead. Dallas trying to take the lead, and that'll help with a first down.
The Giants take away their receivers downfield. How about Dak Prescott showing presence and then going to his check down? Give it to Rod Smith. Go make a play for him, and he does. Gets it upfield and picks up the first down. It looks like Damon Harrison has gone off the field again, trying to play through some dings today.
Now they're working on that leg. He had a finger issue earlier. Morris back in. They fake to him. Prescott, pressure coming. Vernon, he gets away. He hits Morris, makes a man miss. Alfred Morris, first down. What a play from Dak Prescott.
Kevin, he is 6'2", 240 pounds, is Dak Prescott. He is hard to get on the ground. Olivier Vernon's got a clear shot. And look at him shrug him off and have enough strength to get the ball out in the flat to Alfred Morris. His 3rd catch in the entire season for a big pickup for Dallas.
And Vernon was hurt on that play. He leaves an 11-yard gain. Harry Wynn in to replace him, number 72. First down. Alfred Morris to runner. Up the middle across midfield. 3-yard gain there.
And now you've got another pass rusher out for the Giants and Jason Pierre-Paul. Getting some attention there. But you mentioned not too long ago, Kevin, about the improvements of Dak Prescott. You mentioned about how you've seen him grow with the audibles today. He right now is exhibiting that confidence of a quarterback who's in prime control of his football team.
Vernon back in the game. Prescott on the play pass. Fires over the middle, and it's caught to Dez Bryant. He's got a first down before Thompson takes him down at the 37.
And he actually had more. He caught the ball. Watch Bryant from the left breaking into the center of your screen. Look at that delivery right in the window. And then he dances back trying to get away from the tackler. So he catches it past the 35 and ends up back there, but still a nifty completion from Prescott to Dez Bryant.
Under 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. Tied at 10.
Kill. 47. Double. Nico.
There's that audible. They'll run it. It's Morris into a pile, and that pile doesn't move. Nowhere to go as Wynn and Robert Thomas helped on the tackle, and Damon Harrison looks like he's okay again.
And Landon Collins got involved as well, running it down from the backside.
By the way, Charles, Pam Oliver tells us that Sean Lee is indeed fine. Remember, we showed him standing out that last series. Said just to rest, as you perfectly called. So we should see him again when Dallas is on D. Ryan Switzer in the game on offense. He doesn't play on offense much.
46.
He wears number 10 in blue.
Prescott blitz coming. Look out. Prescott decked incomplete. Jason Pierre-Paul was unblocked.
And they are fortunate, Dallas is, that doesn't turn into a bad play for them in terms of an interception. Watch Pierre-Paul unblocked. He hits Prescott as he's trying to get rid of the football. It sails high and goes off the hands of Terrence Williams. Almost turned into a tip drill with an opportunity for an interception for the Giants.
It brought 5, and somehow they left Pierre-Paul untended. Landon Collins has left the field now. Don't know if he's hurt. Third and 11. 4-man rush. They set up a screen near side to Smith, looking to get a block. And he is tackled well shy by Harrison, the big defensive tackle.
People talk all the time about how well Damon Harrison plays against the run, and he does. But watch what he does here in the pass game. So right there in the middle. Okay, so that's Harrison right there. Watch what he does is he realizes it's a screen, and he gets out ahead of the all-pro center, Travis Frederick, and runs him down. Does he do it with Rod Smith in the open field? Yes, he plays the run, but how about that play there in the pass?
Dan Bailey's first miss of the year came earlier today from 53. This from 50. Bailey hooks it, no good. So Bailey had missed 1. Today he's missed 2, and we are still tied at 10. Thanks to that man. Snags Harrison, and Bailey, who's usually so good, not so much today. That old Bill Parcells wind blowing it to the right. Back in a moment. Well, the Cowboys have had some missed opportunities. The drops. Dan Bailey's the most accurate kicker in the history of the game. He's missed 2 field goals today, his first 2 of the year. He's only done that 3 times in his career. That's why the Giants and Cowboys tied at 10. And the other thing, Charles, is exactly what Jason Witten told us, that he thought the Giants would play inspired today because it would give them a spark with the coaching change. And
you knew that they would initially. The key was, would they have enough success early to maintain that? And they did. Game was tied. You know, they got down 3. They tied it at 3. They went up 10-3. Cowboys tied it, but they're right there. So they keep their enthusiasm.
Fake. Manning now has to get rid of it. Here's Powell. Makes the catch, coming around, lays the shoulder. Comes up about a yard shy of a first down. So a 3rd down and 1 is coming. Another game break. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Kevin, how about this one? Browns trying to play spoiler to the possible Aaron Rodgers return. They were already up 14-7 when Deshaun Kaiser connected with Corey Coleman. They lead right now 21-7. Kevin?
Wow. Makes for a big decision, doesn't it, Carissa? If Green Bay gets upset today, do you even think about bringing Aaron Rodgers back this season?
The answer is no.
To me, no.
The answer is no.
The key will be Aaron Rodgers, the competitor, whether he wants to get back in and play at all, if possible.
3rd and 2. Manning to throw. 3-step drop. Complete. Oh, it's lost. Was it a catch, though? I see no ruling. Now it is incomplete. There's the ruling. The ruling on the field is incomplete, and now 4th and 2 in a 10-10 game, and the Giants will punt it away. So Shepard had it, just couldn't hold on.
And that's one of their key playmakers. And people are always wondering what's a catch, what's not a catch. He never had possession as he was trying to establish himself as a runner. That ball was always bobbling and moving, thus an incompletion call.
So Beasley back again. He's their red zone returner. Actually brought one back for the first time all year, his last try.
Well, he saw them bypass him on the coverage, and he went upfield on him.
He'll do it again, and he makes a move and then gets smoked at the 20. Brett Ellison, who caught the touchdown, is the one who made the tackle. And so here is that playoff picture with Carissa's update. Let's swing it into focus for you. The Packers lose. If you could all but eliminate them, I think they'd be probably done. Vikings have won 8 in a row, but they are losing at Carolina today by 11. The Eagles and Rams later. That's a monster game on Fox. Joe, Troy, and Aaron will have that one. The Saints lost to the Falcons. That division is wide open, especially if Carolina wins. And then the Seahawks, Panthers, you see right now. A lot can happen, but the Cowboys at 6-6, they need help, but they still play Seattle. They have got to have it today and probably the rest of the year.
Yeah, they definitely need the help because a number of the teams they're competing with, they've lost those tiebreakers head-to-head.
Landon Collins back in the game at safety for the Giants. Cowboys will run it with Alfred Morris, who gets stacked up at the line by Kelvin Shepard.
The one thing we have not seen much of from the Dallas offense today, Dak Prescott off the bootlegs, off of the running game. Teams have been playing that very well in recent weeks, where they're just going to keep those ends and come upfield, but just far enough to dissuade Dak Prescott from pulling the ball out and coming out the backside. They want to keep him in the pocket, keep him contained. They'll have to win from there in order to defeat these defenses.
It's a great call. No read option plays, anything like that either. Prescott has time, going to float it to Morris, who makes the catch, but could have been a big game, but there's Harrison again. Why not? He's everywhere. And that should take us to the end of the third quarter with a big third down looming for Dallas. So, Cowboys in playoff mode. They've got to have it. The Giants looking to play spoiler. And we've got a game tied at 10, headed to the fourth. And so we go to the fourth quarter, tied at 10. Cowboys at 6-6 in the playoff picture. They've got to win this to stay in it. Pam Oliver, Charles Davis, Kevin Burkhardt with you from the Meadowlands. 3rd and 5 for Dak Prescott. On the run. Stopping. Pumping. Looking. Prescott gonna run, makes a move. And he is not gonna get there as the Giants played that exceptionally well. And the rookie Tomlinson on the stop.
The coverage was absolutely exceptional for the New York Giants. Look at Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie on Jason Witten. And now he's on the move. Look at Brandon Dixon on Dez Bryant. So he had nowhere to go with the football, ended up trying to make it happen with his legs, and the Giants rallied to the football and stopped him and forced the punt.
Keep in mind, we're showing you that while he's also running.
He's running around. You know, people are looking at the end like he's open there. He can't find him there because he's running.
So 4th and 1. And the punt by Jones. Short. And it's going to take a Cowboy bounce and then kind of roll to the side, but the Giants will have decent field position here out at their 31. Well, this is a great honor. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. You're talking about guys who make an unbelievable impact in their community. The nominees for these two teams, Travis Frederick for Dallas, Mark Hertzlich for the Giants. The winner announced at the NFL Honors the night before the Super Bowl. For the nominees, visit NFL.com/Man of the Year. And this year, something new. They're wearing a Walter Payton Man of the Year patch for the winners previously and for the nominees today. That is outstanding. There's the patch on Eli Manning's jersey.
Eli Manning won it last year, split the award with Larry Fitzgerald of the Arizona Cardinals.
Manning to throw it. Gallman to catch it. And Gallman is tangled after a 4-yard gain. Jalen Smith on the tackle. So a day that started with Eli Manning returning to the lineup. He's 19 of 28, 155 yards, and a touchdown. Looking for the upset. Cowboys come with a blitz. Giants go with a run, and Gallman will make his way up to make it a 3rd and 2. Giants have gone quickly all day long, and now Manning actually calls a huddle. That's a rarity today.
Well, the game has gotten short for the Giants now. They've taken it into the fourth quarter, so every play now crucial to try and pull off this upset. Might have pulled them back just to make sure everybody got this play call and got on the correct page.
Three wide receivers. That's Shepard in motion. They'll fake the run. Manning looking for Shepard. He's not there. Now throwing on a run. Bobble. Oh, it dropped. Lewis had it right in his hands. And we get a penalty flag after the play.
This might be the hit at the end that got him. Let's take a look, because Roger Lewis comes all the way across field, and Eli Manning waited and stuck it on him. He doesn't make it, and then there's a hit that's up high, and no call yet, no flag yet, because nothing came out initially. There's the hit, tries to hit him in the chest. Did he get him up above the head and neck level? That's the key right there, because the flag was not thrown initially, Kevin. I'm watching them all. And to me, it looked like he hit him in the chest area. Let's take a look again. That one, the ball should have been caught. He put it around Roger Lewis. He bobbled it. Now comes the hit here, and he tries to get him below the neckline, but he's right on the line.
For a personal foul, it's fourth down.
No foul, and I think, and we just heard from Dean Blandino, our rules expert in LA. He thinks this is the right call, that it is no foul.
He's right on the line, but he's clearly trying to throw a shoulder in. See, it's shoulder he's leading with. He's trying to keep the head out of it, and that's exactly what he did.
And Jason Garrett becoming the salesman there. I mean, look, it's ultra close. Chidobe Awuzie was the guy there, the rookie who made the hit. It's very, very close. But Walt Anderson picks up the flag.
You can tell players are conscious of the rule. You notice the strike zone, trying to get down in there, and he tried to go shoulder first, not helmet.
Here's Switzer. Dangerous back there from the 15. And the Giants cover him well. And so the Cowboys, with 12:33 to go, will have possession in a tie game. So Manning and the Giants have hung in there, trying to put a real dent in the Cowboys' playoff hopes. Better than this, Charles Davis.
You can't, and I know the crowd was upset about the non-call, but the point was moot if this ball is caught. His eyes do not go to the football. He allows it to get to his body instead of hands catching it. Now they've got 33 drops on the year to the Giants receivers.
Here are the Cowboys, tied at 10. They'll give it to Rod Smith with a hole, breaking free. Good run by Rod Smith for a Cowboys first down, and a 15-yard run for Dallas.
This was a Smith and Smith production here, because watch Tyron Smith, the left tackle, help clear the way. Look at him. He takes care of the point of attack against Olivier Vernon. Smith sees that, cuts inside. Jonathan Cooper, the former first-round pick of the Arizona Cardinals, he's played very well since being inserted in the starting lineup in Dallas. And Rod Smith rides it all the way downfield for a big first down.
Longest run of the day for Dallas. They'll give it to Smith again, running behind Smith again and running his way to the 42-yard line for a gain of 5. So after this drop by Lewis, here's Manning. No head down. Let's go.
He's always been very good about that. He's never called out teammates who've missed blocks, guys who have dropped balls, because he understands he's thrown interceptions at key times. He's made mistakes as well, and he's held in there as a leader in that fashion throughout his career.
Second down. Prescott behind Jason Witten there. He had no chance at that one, who still doesn't have a catch today. Third down coming up.
It's hard to get my head wrapped around the idea Jason Witten, no catches this deep into a ball game. They're used to establishing him early, getting him going. Last week, only one catch. And now a key third down again for Dallas.
Jason Pierre-Paul is back in the game. We saw him go out earlier. 3rd and 5 for Dallas. Giants show blitz. Prescott has time, stands in, knocked away, is it intercepted? Collins has it. Landon Collins. No, the ruling incomplete now we get. An incompletion, but Cockrell was there to make the play, and Dallas will punt. Let's look at the replay, Charles. Let's see. No, I don't think he got it.
I don't think he got it. He's got his hands around it, but I don't know that he possessed it as the ball was hitting the ground. But they did call it incomplete, and I don't think that view we saw there would overturn that. He gave it a heck of an effort, though, didn't he? Diving for the football. Remember, he was involved in that play against Seattle earlier this year. Touchdown, no touchdown. Did he get an interception? Was it a touchdown? He still says it was an interception. Seattle was awarded a touchdown.
Tell you what, this Giants secondary has played a pretty good ball game today. And now a punt by Jones, who gets this one a mile high. Raymond just gets away from it inside the 5 and into the end zone. But the Giants get a break, and they'll start on their own 20. 11:05 to go. Still tied in the Meadowlands. Good game here today. 11:05 to go. Cowboys Giants tied at 10. Coming up next on Fox America's Game of the Week. That'll be an awesome one. Rams and Eagles from LA. That'll be next with Joe, Troy, and Aaron. Here are the Giants trying to pull the upset and play playoff spoiler. Their offense has been stagnant of late. 5 straight punts. Manning against a blitz. A rare one gets it out to Darkwa. And Jeff Heath is there to help ride him out of bounds. Marinelli doesn't blitz much, but he brought the pressure that time.
Got a change in the offensive line for the Giants, too. John Halapio, the starting guard, number 75, out of the game, replaced by number 73, John Greco. He's been in the league a long time now. His 10th year out of Toledo. Been a starter in the league with the Rams and Cleveland.
Second down and 4. A little razzle-dazzle to Shepard, who is in trouble, and down he goes. Sean Lee. My goodness.
Well, you got the razzle part right. The dazzle was Sean Lee. He sees this the whole way. And look how he just immediately comes up. And look at this play right there. Do you see DeMarcus Lawrence ends up picking off the blocker and allowing Sean Lee free access to Sterling Shepard? I'm not sure it was intended that way, but boy, it sure worked out.
That's the 14th tackle for Lee. Brings up a 3rd and 12. 4-man rush, but pressure on Manning. Unloads to Vereen, who's got a way to go, and he's not going to get there. And another punt, the 6th straight for the Giants with under 10 to go. Sean Lee is some kind of player, man. I mean, it is. You can say all you want. You can show all the numbers you want. And they all prove what a difference is when on the field. When you watch him play, I mean, he's just, every time there's a play to be made, it's him.
And he chose football. You know, he was a big-time high school basketball player. I mean, big time. One of the top players in the Pittsburgh area.
Cowboys have a return chance here with a guy who's a touchdown on a punt return 10 days ago. Switzer inside the 20, makes a move and gets deaths there, and a penalty comes as well. Nat Burhay on the tackle. Let's see what this penalty is.
Thrown in the vicinity of Andrew Adams, who was covering on the play. Typically, that's
You're in the return.
block.
Illegal block in the back, number 41, receiving team, 10-yard penalty. First down, Dallas. Timeout.
And so the Cowboys have it with not so great field position. Dallas D doing their job with Lee. Now can the offense do their part? Still tied up. Pretty even game, right? Both quarterbacks playing pretty well. Both have had their share of drops. Giants have 2 drops. Cowboys have 3. 10-10 game. Here's Dak Prescott. Coming near side. Ball is tipped and is taken by the fullback, Keith Smith, who is out across the 20, his first touch today.
And Calvin Munson made another nice play, an undrafted free agent out of San Diego State. Kevin, during the course of this game, you talked about Steve Spagnuolo, talking about the Giants' tradition, built on defense. That's what this organization's about. Well, the way the offense has not been able to move the ball in the second half, they've put it back on this defense here in the second half. Can they not just hold on, but can they make a play that gives their offense a chance to win this game?
We'll have to find out. 2nd and 7, a little pitch. And there's a Smith bouncing off people, working hard. Rod Smith out to the 25. So a 3rd and short coming, where the Cowboys are 5 of 11 on 3rd down today. And now that defensive moment that Charles is talking about. down and 2. Blitz coming. Prescott gets rid of it. Beasley with the move. Cole Beasley still going. Inside the 30. 54 yards to Beasley, and Collins is hurt on the play.
And you identified how Cole Beasley got because here comes the blitz right here. So it's now man-to-man, and he beats Landon Collins to the outside and then hooks back inside, and now he's got a chance downfield. Terrence Williams does a nice job blocking, and there was another block downfield for the Cowboys that wasn't thrown that really helped them out because he didn't create a penalty. And then Collins at the end of this play, because look down here, watch what Des Bryant does. Okay, the play happens. He could throw the block, and see how he doesn't throw it so he doesn't create a penalty? That's an intelligent football play by Des Bryant, so that play will stand for the Cowboys.
Well, a couple things. First of all, Landon Collins is down. They're working on him. Real concern for him. He was a fine young player in this league. So they work on Collins, and we hope he's okay. Charles, tell you this. In this game, every time the teams have blitzed, they've gotten burnt today.
That's where the big plays have occurred. We mentioned it at the top of the second half. The two biggest plays of the first half for either team both came off of blitzes. Watch at the end of this play as Landon Collins is making the tackle on Beasley. The right ankle twist, and then as he comes down, he's felt the pain already. But Cole Beasley ends up in man-to-man coverage, beats Collins, and when he hooked it back inside, it became a foot race for a big play. One big block by Williams, one non-block by Bryant, and that was a big deal.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after these messages.
That's how it happened when you saw the big plays. We see Landon Collins go off the field. Here comes the blitz by Darian Thompson. Here's the coverage here by Landon Collins. Out route by Beasley. He puts his foot in the ground, and now he gets upfield. To the left, a good block here by Williams, the non-block by Des Bryant, and it's a huge play for Dallas.
And it sets him up with a chance going. Enzo Witten, touchdown! There's his first catch, and it comes at the biggest moment. He had one catch for a touchdown against Washington. He has one catch for a touchdown today. Extra point by Bailey, up and good. So Witten with the touchdown, but the big play goes to Beasley to set it up from 54 yards, but then going all reliable, Charles.
And here's Witten. They hide him inside of James Hannon, the second tight end. Runs right past Kelvin Shepard. Devon Kennard, if he's got the coverage, he's not even nearly close enough. And no help from the safety over the top. And what a nicely thrown ball by Dak Prescott. And right at you as he gets past Brandon Dixon, the last line of defense for the Giants. And look at the eyes and look at the emotion. Jason Witten still loves this game after all these years in the NFL.
That's great stuff. Prescott making the plays, 2 throws in a row.
How about Scott Linehan as an offensive coordinator attacking? And there's Jason Garrett. After the big play, Landon Collins is hurt. One of their key players on defense. He's going to be off the field, and they attack the secondary immediately on the next play.
And consider this. Cole Beasley, we talked about it. Defenses have taken him away all year. He comes off a career high year. This year, he had not had a game with more than 33 yards receiving. One play, 54 yards to Beasley. The difference right now, but plenty of time to go, and the Giants will start from their own 25.
And what they've done most of the year is double him. Take him away, dissuade them. Darian Thompson, 27 on the blitz, so Landon Collins has the coverage. Once he makes the catch and gets inside of Collins, now it's the foot race downfield where he gets a nice escort from Williams, 83, Bryant, 88, and then Jason Witten with the payoff.
They've doubled him almost the entire game on 3rd down.
Then they leave him free on one-on-one. Landon Collins much more effective as a run defender. and they paid for it.
So now the Giants down by 7. They're going to get it to Ingram, who is out to the 30. Let's go down the sidelines, get a report from Pam Oliver.
Well, hey there, Kevin. Jason Pierre-Paul had apparently seen enough. He went over to his offensive group, and he told them to get it going. He'd seen just about enough and got a Landon Collins injury update for you. He has an ankle and is questionable. Back to you.
Trying to light a spark, Pam. We appreciate that on both counts. 5-yard gain, second down. Ballman. The rookie gets it. The rookie gets nothing. Lawrence on the tackle and a penalty as well.
That came from the back judge. How many times did we see that? And that's holding on the offensive line when you see that. Excuse me, on the defensive line when they're holding up blockers.
Illegal hands to the face, number 56. Defense, 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's a 6th penalty on the Cowboys defensive line today alone.
And that's Dayton Jones, who they just picked up, who's been working inside at defensive tackle, drafted as an outside linebacker defensive end. He's trying to work upfield against those blockers, and they detected him having his hands in the wrong spot.
So a first down, under 7 minutes to go. Here comes pressure. Here's Gallman over the middle. And he's out to the 42, picks up 6. What do you think of Gallman today, Charles?
I like what I've seen from him. You know, they want to utilize him in the run game. He's getting them some tough yards inside, catching the ball well out of the backfield. Got past that early bobble that he put on the ground. We haven't seen that since.
Rookie, 79 total yards, 4th-round draft pick out of Clemson. He remains in there on 2nd and 4. Manning the throw over the middle, incomplete. He was going for Ingram, who had pretty good coverage by Hitchens.
Eli sees it. Hitchens attached to Ingram. The ball gets away. He signals incomplete. John Jalapeno is back in at right guard for the New York Giants. This last series.
Catchable ball nonetheless. 3rd and 4. They're going to have a draw to Gallman. Sprinting. First down to Gallman. Called that play a couple of times, and it's worked a couple of times on a first down.
I think Mike Sullivan's got some fortitude as a play caller to be able to go back to the draw, because when you're in 3rd and that type of yardage, running the draw is a bit of a gamble. But look how well they blocked that up. Brett Jones, the center, 69. Jalapeno, 75, the right guard, gave him a lane, and he took it.
Here is Manning. Pressure up the middle, and that is, I believe, caught. It is a bobble, but Gallman did hang on, and he picks up 4.
And not aesthetically pleasing, but the result gives him the 4 yards, and that's what you want on a first down play.
Not aesthetically pleasing, that is for sure, but it is a gain of 4, and it's 2nd down and 6. Manning slings it. Lewis makes a catch, and he can't go anywhere. Xavier Woods, another one of these young secondary guys, 6th-round pick on the tackle.
So give Xavier Woods credit, number 25, for coming underneath and making a nice play. But that ball was thrown a little bit high, which threw the timing off on the play. And because of that, gave Woods that split second that he needed to get there and make the tackle.
Giants are 5 of 13 on 3rd down. They need 8. Manning fires far side, incomplete, no flag. The Giants going for Ingram.
Giants sideline's got to be going crazy over there, because the initial thought is Jordan Lewis has his back to the football. Does he make a play on the ball at all? He has hand on him. Does he see it? He's into the body of the receiver. And a lot of officials, you and I have seen this throughout the year, Kevin, let you guys work it out on your own outside. You both were hand fighting. To me, Jordan was in there too soon. There should have been a flag.
Giants will punt it away. And they will down it at about the 12 with 4:33 to go. Dak will remember his home at this time, Charles. There you go. Hey, it's a singing competition that starts with the 4 best singers. The 4 battles for stardom with judges Sean Diddy Combs, DJ Khaled, Megan Trainor, Charlie Walk, hosted by Fergie too. That's some star power. Vocal Combat begins Thursday, January 4th, right here on Fox. So what do we got? We got 4:33 to go. We got the Cowboys up by 7 in a game they have to stay in the playoff race. Giants with all 3 timeouts.
And I think that the Cowboys got a little bit of a gift on the non-call for Jordan Lewis outside. Because I thought he was into his body too soon on that pass play.
They will run it. Alfred Morris trying to sneak through, and he does. Alfred Morris is kind of sneaky. You know, it looks like there's nothing there, and all of a sudden he's got 5.
Listen, it looks like it's blocked for 2 or 3 yards. Just what you noted. You look up, and Alfred Morris gets 5 or 6. Excellent vision, finishes runs moving forward, knows how to get those tough, gritty yards. And this is going to be key for Dallas here as they try and bleed the clock out and take home a victory. The Giants got to load up and get the football back.
Bryant comes out. 2nd and 3. Morris again. Tries to get to the edge and will not. Damon Harrison seems to be everywhere, and he goes out of bounds again.
So twice he's helped the Giants by not staying in bounds and either deciding, are we going to use timeouts now or just bleed the clock down to help the Cowboys. He's helped the Giants on 2 occasions by getting out of bounds.
Giants blitz last time and got burnt. Wonder what the call is here on a 3rd down.
I'm going to say no blitz here. Back to the original strategy and formula to make sure you got 2 in the vicinity of Cole Beasley, number 11. Who else can win?
33. Prescott over the middle. He's got completion. Smith off to the races. Rod Smith, touchdown. 81 yards.
Dak Prescott saw this one. He saw this one. He saw this one before it actually happened. Spread them out. Saw he had the mismatch with Rod Smith and made sure he got the ball to the right guy, and that's exactly what occurred. I think we continue to see the maturation of a young quarterback in what we're seeing today from Dak Prescott.
The extra point is no good. So Dan Bailey's had a very uncharacteristic day. But the Cowboys up by 13 now after the 81-yard strike to Smith.
You see Jason Pierre-Paul understandably upset by that play. But watch Dak Prescott. See the eyes? He wants the ball right now because he knows where he's going. Look left and came right back to the target he wanted because he had Rod Smith isolated on Kelvin Shepard, a linebacker. And he took that win and got way more than I think he ultimately expected. Okay, so look at this. This is all wide open. He knows he can get there. See, he looks left to look off the defense, and there's Rod Smith breaking right there to the open area against Kelvin Shepard, the linebacker. And now it's just a foot race. And yes, he's celebrating the touchdown. You know what else he's celebrating? He knows in his mind he's seeing defenses better and better as a young QB in this league.
Then Jason Pierre-Paul, you heard Pam give the report that he was trying to fire up the offense. Well, the defense, which has been good today, has given it up in the 4th quarter. And give credit to Dak Prescott and company. Career long pass for Prescott and, of course, a catch for Smith. And here's Raymond trying to make something happen for the Giants. You've got 4 minutes and 2 seconds left and a 13-point deficit to overcome. We got penalties on the play. That's turned into a big game for him, hasn't it?
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 29, receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, New York.
Consider he's had 3 drops in those numbers for Dak Prescott. He has had a very good day. When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you get opinion that cuts through the hype. Catch Speak for Yourself with Jason Whitlock and Colin Cowherd weekdays at 5 Eastern, only on FS1.
How about Dak Prescott not rushing that play either? He knew what he wanted, knew what he had. Oftentimes as a young quarterback, you'll get overexcited and try and get to it too fast. He still went through the look to your left, freeze the defense, come back to the right, put it on your guy, and off he goes.
By the way, in a strange day for Dan Bailey, who's missed 2 field goals, 273 career extra point attempts he'd never missed till just then. So he's had a bizarre one for him, but luckily for him, the Cowboys are still up by 13. See if Eli Manning's got anything left in this game. And he starts with a completion up near a first down. There's Ingram. And obviously time a factor, needing 2 touchdowns.
The hard part now is who can get big chunks of yardage for them downfield. Can Sterling Shepard win downfield and get that? Evan Ingram? Anyone?
Manning over the middle has a completion to Vereen. Well, Sterling Shepard has only 1 catch today for 11 yards.
He came in with an injured hamstring, a little bit of a sore hamstring. That may be limiting his ability to get downfield, but they need someone to create a big play. Dallas will let him take these underneath routes all day.
And this is tipped in the air, intercepted, it's Lee. Who else? Sean Lee's had a day.
I think Awuzie created the play, driving on the football and tipping it in the air, and then Sean Lee on the spot, as usual, completes the interception. Watch Lee. He's going to see it and then run to the ball, but watch at the point of the contact there. You see Awuzie, 33, drives on the football against Powell, breaks on the ball, knocks it in the air, and Lee, of course, running to the football himself. Well, if you don't want it, Chidobe, I'll take it. And finishes off that play. And a pretty nice day on defense for Sean Lee and his defensive mates.
And so now the Cowboys really trying to put the hammer down. Already up 13, 3 and change to go. They get in the I formation, jumbo formation, and they will run it to Alfred Marks up the middle. And Charles, I think about this Cowboys team coming in that had awful problems in the second half of games, right? I mean, you think about it, coming into today, they were just, terrible in the second half. It was an issue. First half, they were outscoring opponents by 50. Second half, they were being outscored by 48 points. But against Washington the last time, it changed. And today, a big change.
First playoff game for Dallas. That's what they talked about. The playoffs actually began today for them. 1 down. That's the way they're looking at this one. Hung in there. And I think that they've gained a lot of confidence last week running the ball effectively without Ezekiel Elliott and winning a game, and winning on defense without Sean Lee. That helped them overall, and now you welcome back Sean Lee. That makes your defense that much better.
And you think about this as if there's the first half, second half split. I mean, it had been dreadful until the last game, and now 2 games in a row, it's been a big difference. The other thing this team hadn't done is have big plays. They've had it in the second half now, for the first time in a while, really, on the offense. They've had them on special teams, things like that, but not like today. And Dak Prescott has been, quite frankly, splendid. 21 of 30, should be 24 of 30. 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, and talk about the big plays. Here's some of them.
Yeah, that's a big-time catch by Dez Bryant for a big play. Jason Witten after the Cole Beasley 3rd down, long completion. And then Rod Smith. And you'll notice what he's really gotten. All year, they've struggled with yards after catch. They haven't had many of those. Not many of these balls that he's throwing are really deep downfield. But look at the biggest plays. Cole Beasley, huge yards after the catch. Right? Rod Smith, huge yards after the catch. That's something they haven't had much of. Dez Bryant in the first half, a big play, yards after the catch. That's something they needed incorporated back into their offense, and they saw it this afternoon.
They had 3 plays of plus 20 yards in this half alone.
Ball didn't travel in the air very far either.
3rd down and 4 here. They will pitch it, keep the clock going. It's Smith who cuts up. Rod Smith, touchdown!
And to think Rod Smith moved to fullback at Ohio State in large part because of a man named Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, he's having his spotlight back on him today, isn't he?
Certainly is. In fact, the Cowboys had moved him to fullback last season before bringing him back to tailback this year. And he's done well. His brother Jalen, back from a horrific knee injury to have an impressive first year in the NFL playing middle linebacker.
So this game is going to go down as a blowout, but you consider that the Cowboys have made the plays in this fourth quarter. That's the difference.
This is what you used to call in the good old days in college ball, student body left. Look at Tyron Smith, 77 block there. Keith Smith, 41, leading. And then, of course, Rod Smith taking advantage of those blocks. Jason Witten not throwing a block late to cause a penalty. Boy, a Smith brigade.
I mean, how many Smiths can you have on the field at one time?
Right now, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you can't sign enough Smiths. If that's the play you're getting, tell all the scouts, bring me some Smiths.
Honestly, it's easy if you're a play-by-play guy. You know, Smith makes the catch from Smith, hand off to Smith. Touchdown Smith.
Not a bad day then, is it? But boy, you're exactly right. This will go down as a big-time victory for Dallas. As you said, blowout, it looks like on paper. Far from that in this ball game. Remember, we were 10-10 not very long ago.
And so 2:57 to go, Giants down by 20. And remember, crazy week, right? I mean, the Giants fire the GM. They fire their head coach, Steve Spagnuolo. And remember, it's an audition for him, too. Where are the Giants right now?
Right now, they're searching for answers because, remember, they had so many things going on that you just noted, but they decided to just down focus. Everything was about the Dallas Cowboys this week. Let's try and beat the Dallas Cowboys. I think they'll be back at the drawing board starting on Monday.
Yeah.
What's going to be the future plans? Were they going to do a quarterback with Eli Manning? Does Davis Webb, the rookie, get to play? And Steve Spagnuolo, remember, he had great affection for Ben McAdoo. Enjoyed working for him. Was indebted to him in some ways because he said Ben McAdoo stuck with him after 2015 when the defense wasn't very good. So he hates being in this position because of what happened to his friend, but he owes it to the organization to give it his best shot. And he had them ready to play. They just don't have enough firepower.
They don't have enough talent. That's obvious. I mean, look, injuries, it all comes into play, right? When you're 2-10. Meanwhile, if you're Jerry Jones, he just dropped something. The Hall of Famer just lost something out of the box.
And look at that, and he got it back.
He's signing autographs, I think. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
I thought he lost something. All right, Jerry.
And he was like,
see him.
Did you see his face? Like, yeah, how do I sign this? Where?
That may take us to the 2-minute warning as Lewis makes the catch there. See if they get one more playoff for the 2-minute warning, and they do. Manning the throw, looking over the middle. Azverine diving forward, first down, and we'll stop the clock with 1:55. This fourth quarter, all Dallas. How about 27 unanswered points? That's what the Cowboys have done. Career high for Dak Prescott. He's been great. 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, and it's all fourth quarter for Dallas, where they have pulled away here today against the Giants, who had a good fight in them, but they gave it up late, and the Cowboys getting the big plays that they've sorely desired all year long. And now, a reminder, State Farm game break is coming up in just a moment. We've got a big game next on Fox, Rams and Eagles from LA. That's a monster one. 2nd and 1. Lewis, first down. Penalty flag. Let's go to Carissa Thompson for a game break. Carissa.
Thanks, Kev. Just letting you know what's coming up next. You mentioned it, a huge one here in Los Angeles. So the Eagles stayed west all week long after their game against Seattle. You've got the #1 and #2 overall pick in last year's draft going up against each other. A huge game here in Los Angeles. Joe, Troy, and Aaron have the call. It's coming up next. Kev.
Excited, Carissa, for that one. That's for sure.
Now,
Foul, face mask, number 18, offense. That'll be a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, and it'll still be 2nd down.
and Chris had just mentioned that the Rams stayed out west, right, to work out and train. Excuse me, the Eagles did, to work out and train for this game. They trained at the Angels Stadium.
Well, Mike Trout's an Eagles fan.
He's an Eagles fan, so he probably helped grease that.
Might have hooked that up.
did they stay long enough to meet the newest addition to the Angels?
It's a good question. Shohei Ohtani. Although I know that Kobe Bryant spoke to them for a little motivational speech the other day.
Now let's see how this all translates into
There's
big win.
Manning is dropped.
Yeah, you remember Kobe from the Philadelphia area?
Oh, no doubt. Charles, couple of updates here. Minnesota's tied Carolina at 24. The Packers with the 1 to the Browns. They need it for their playoff hopes. And the Chiefs up by 11 on the Raiders. Those are kind of the big early games here today. If we get done, we'll send you to that game with the Browns and the Packers. Green Bay has the ball. And I guess a touchdown is under review, so that'll be big. Manning going deep here. Intercepted by Jeff Heath, and that will officially do it. So Manning in his return to the lineup. Those numbers maybe a little skewed at the end of the day. Played pretty well, a lot of drops. But if there was a pick there, that will be it, as Dak Prescott will come on and take a knee. And here's who the Cowboys have left. They've got to win out. They need help, too, because they've lost to a lot of the wild card contenders. But, Charles, that game against Seattle's big, right? They all are. But if they can win out, they beat Seattle, and they get a little help, this team could be a playoff team. They'll be 7-6 after today.
They can put themselves in a position to get that 10th win that everyone talks about to start the season. Win 10, you think you're in the playoffs, but they've got to go to Oakland first. Don't overlook that ball game going to Oakland. Marshawn Lynch running the football.
Do they look like a playoff team to you?
From what I've seen, especially the second half, they're starting to round into form. Because now with the offense starting to get it together, and don't forget, Seattle time, guess who's back? Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
So now if you're starting to round into form without him, you get him back and get that extra jolt. Yes, they look like a team that could do some damage if they can make it to the playoffs.
He comes back on that game, Christmas Eve against Seattle. The Packers' touchdown was reversed. They've got a 1st and goal with 33 seconds to go. And we're going to go to Kurt Menefee in L.A. in just a moment. This one, a final from the Meadowlands, 30-10 Cowboys. Pam Oliver, Charles Davis, I'm Kevin Burkhardt, our entire NFL on Fox crew. Now to Los Angeles and Kurt Menefee. See ya.